Hello my darlings! In today's video I'm going to be giving you a quick recap of Celebrity Big Brother episode 8, The Live Eviction. I am dropping daily quick recaps of this whole season, so if that sounds like something that you're interested in, click the subscribe button below so you don't miss out on any upcoming videos. And also, while you're at it, check out my Big Brother recap playlist to catch up on all the episodes you may have missed. And without further ado, let's just get into it. So, just to recap, in tonight's episode, Lauren was nominated by public vote to leave the house and she was evicted and left the house. And Sharon's time as the celebrity lodger came to an end and she also left the house. So we had two evictions tonight. So let's just run through Sharon's interview really quickly. So basically she said she had the best time going into the house and that she's really glad she went in. I'm wondering if her perception would have changed if she wasn't there as a guest lodger, because she obviously had quite a few perks. She kind of got to do what she wanted to do and she was exempt from a few things as well. So I'm wondering if her perception would have changed if the contractual details were slightly different. But anyway, in saying that, she was saying that she literally wasn't aware that as a celebrity lodger she was going to have the level of power that she had, and she didn't actually like it. She felt bad for having to judge people so harshly and so quickly, and by that she was talking about when she had to place Zizi, David and Gary into the ring of fire after having known them for 40 minutes. She said that it was lovely being with Louis and catching up with him because she hasn't seen him for 4 to 5 years. And AJ and Will were like, you guys were literally like dropping some gems. Like, you guys could have a podcast afterwards. Like, would you do that? And she was like, oh, that would be a hit. And she was like, wait, did you see all the things we were talking about? And AJ and Will were like, yeah. And she was like, oh my god, I didn't even think that they would air all of that. Like, I'm so shocked. She was obviously like, because some of it was quite negative. But I thought, Sharon, you knew they were going to air it. You know that Big Brother ain't going to leave no stone unturned. And she even said that one night Louis said, can they hear me? I don't think they can hear me. And she was like, the bloody can hear you. They can hear everything. She also said that she knew that Louis would be kept in. She knew that the public would save him. Hence why she didn't save him. And also as well, she literally wanted to give the younger ones a chance. She obviously spoke about the fact that she really liked Zizi and that she really connected with Zizi, and that Zizi definitely reminds her of her daughter Kelly. And Kelly was also in the audience and Kelly was smiling at that, so I'm thinking maybe she agrees. Because I feel like we can all remember Kelly in The Osbournes when that first aired. How many millions of years ago is that now? I used to love watching that show. But she was quite a firecracker, so I can see where she's drawing the comparison. She said seeing what everybody was saying about Louis didn't surprise her because Louis is Louis. Like, Louis isn't going to lift a finger. He's not about that life. And if Louis cooks you something, like, you wouldn't want to eat it anyway, kind of thing. So she was like, don't expect anything domesticated from him, but that's just him. That is how he's that's how he's set up. And they basically said, do you think you hurt Louis by not saving him? And again, she was like, I just knew that the public would save him. And they were like, well, how were you so sure? And she was just like, I don't know, but I just had a real gut feeling that the public would save Louis. But she did say that she knows that it did hurt him slightly, him not being saved. And she was saying that she just didn't enjoy that whole being a secret eavesdropper and having that power. And she definitely didn't feel the need to spread the beans of what she'd heard anybody say. She just didn't like that whole sneaky Big Brother behaviour, basically. She said that she picked Fern because she likes to give young people a chance, and I feel like her and Fern both had that kind of mutual understanding as well, because I feel like Fern understands, you know what, this is just it's not an ageist thing, but it's just one of those things. I feel like her and Fern had that silent understanding. And AJ and Will said, is there really a divide in the house between the younger ones and the older ones? And she said, absolutely, the divide is real. And basically said, well, you were really close to Ekin-Su, and Lauren was close to Ekin-Su. And she was basically like, yeah, Ekin-Su goes between the older ones and the younger ones. And then they asked her, who does she think is playing a game? Which she found really hard to answer. And to be honest with you, I feel like despite the fact that she was the celebrity lodger and she was exempt from some things, she did have a lot of tough tasks, because she had to answer some really hard questions that nobody else had to answer. And because she was looked at as the queen in the house, people were literally hanging on to her every word. So she was placed in quite difficult positions. In terms of who she thinks is playing a game, she said she feels like David is playing the game, and he's playing it well. Basically said she doesn't think there's anything wrong with wanting to win, and you know, at the end of the day, if you're going into Celebrity Big Brother, you've got to go in with a game plan if you want to win. She basically said he's entertaining, he's funny, and direct quote, he's like a moth to a flame when it comes to the camera, and he just brings it every time, and he's brilliant. And I think the same, to be honest with you, because this guy is literally just switched on. He's just on all the time. Like, he's never on the back foot, he's always on the front foot. So I can agree with her there. And that's another thing as well, I feel like the things that she had said has been quite constructive and hasn't been destructive. I feel like a lot of the decisions she's made have been the right decisions. And then they said, who do you want to win? And she said Nikita, that he's gorgeous and he's just perfect. He's the right person to win. And that was that. And then Lauren was interviewed. She was like, she's relaxed and relieved to have left the house. And to be fair, it looked like a weight was lifted from her mind. I kind of just really get the feeling that she knew that it was her time to go, and almost kind of got the sense that she didn't really have anything more to offer to the show. And I don't mean that in a negative way. I just mean people have thought the same thing about her on 2 occasions, and that is it. There's nothing more for her to deliver, so to speak. AJ and Will said to her, why do you think you were voted out? And she admitted, as I mentioned in a previous recap, that she is a bit of a Marmite character. People obviously either love her or hate her, or get her or don't get her, but she hasn't really thought about why she got voted out. It's just one of those things. And they said to her, do you want to see who voted for you? And to be fair, she looked a bit unsure, as if to say she wasn't ready to hear what people were saying about her. And she said, am I going to cry again? I kind of feel like with Lauren, all of this steely exterior, the Marmite vibe, I feel like it's again another form of a defense mechanism. And I would have liked to have seen, I think, a bit more of the real her. And I know that persona, like that, she's like, that is me, I'm not going to change. That's just genuinely her. However, I feel like there is a bit more depth and dynamics to her than what she has shown thus far, if I'm completely honest. And I mean, seeing her here, she came across as a bit vulnerable. Anyway, she did watch the playback of who voted for her, and she said that she was really surprised to see that Levi was one of the people that voted for her, because she considered that she had 3 friends in the house: Ekin-Su, who's like her sister, Louis, who's like her dad, that she has a bloody laugh with, and Levi, because she said that she spent a lot of time with him in the kitchen. But then she said, it is what it is, and that's it. And she says, I'm a bit of a naughty girl, but I'm not going to change. I am who I am. And I kind of like that, you know, whole I am who I am thing. I'm not going to change, like it or lump it attitude. Is why should she at the end of the day? And she basically said she went into the house to have fun, create some new friendships. And she said, if I'm the villain, then I'm the villain. And I think that she was a bit of a villain character. And then and then they showed her a picture of Coulson, and literally she got his name correct, like right off the bat, and they were like, oh, so you can pronounce his name, so you do know you do know his name. And they had a bit of a laugh about that. And then they spoke briefly about Orange Gate and ZZ. And then she also had the cheek to say that I did notice that ZZ was nominated almost as much as I was. They were like, we had no idea that citrus fruit could cause so much problems. And they had a bit of a laugh, and you know, she was just like, look, it was only about the fruit salad and we made up, but ultimately outside of that whole Orange Gate situation, me and ZZ never really did connect. Like, we just didn't really talk much, and she never asked me anything about me, and I never asked her anything about her. And I was really glad that she pointed that out, because as I mentioned in yesterday's recap, I feel like the way she was talking was as if to say it was a one-way street, when it definitely is a two-way street. So I was glad that she pointed that out. And she just basically said, you know, she's just not the sort of person that I'd go for a coffee with, because we've just got no common ground. And I feel like that is perfectly fine, because you're not going to get on like a house on fire with everybody, you know. So that was that. AJ said, think you could have tried harder with ZZ. And she said she did try. She tried harder. Even at the time, Orange Gate, she apologised straight away and she turned it down. And even during the good cop, bad cop task, ZZ was quite combative towards her. But then they did bond over the You're a Star, the girl group. And they found a bit of a common ground. So she basically held on to that happier thought, and she's left with that, which I thought was good, because, you know, there would be absolutely no point leaving on a downer. And then they spoke briefly about the horrific letter, and they were like, did you even make an effort when writing that letter? And Lauren basically said she did make an effort, but the conditions of which she had to write the letter were not good, because it was freezing cold and she literally wanted to get out the bin. And then she spoke about Ekin Su and says that she absolutely loves her. She's beautiful inside and out, and she's fabulous. And you can actually see that they genuinely got along really, really well. And they asked her who she thought was playing a game. And she said that she thinks everybody's playing a game. So she didn't really specify anybody. And they asked who she thought was most genuine. And of course, she said Ekin Su. She also says Nikita, that he's a great, genuine guy and also very easy on the eye. Everybody carries the torch for him. And she also said Louis. Oh yeah, and they so they were like, we're really surprised that you and Louis ended up getting on really well, because after the way he spoke to you on the first night, when he literally like verbally dragged you out of the bed, we didn't think that you'd get on. And it seems like she basically didn't even take that whole situation in. It kind of went over her head, and she was like, oh, I don't even know what you're talking about. Like, things go over my head quite a lot half the time. And because I have my earplugs in. So I'm thinking maybe she didn't really take that on board, which I found quite odd, because the whole room did. And they asked her who she thought would win, and she said Nikita is the complete package. And that's it, my darlings. That concludes tonight's eviction episode. And they actually did confirm tonight that 2 more people will be evicted on Friday. Oh my god, time is going so quickly. everything is happening. It's all going on. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much, as always, my darlings, for watching. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe to my channel for daily Big Brother tea, and I'll catch you in the next one. Mwah.